Now there's a name. Sovereign Supersports TV Games. What a corker! Now, there's not much about this fine 1977 derived machine on Tinternet, although in the States it was known as Decca Sports TV Games. As for my fine box example, it literally came with my house. Yep, that's right, it was holding up a water pipe in the attic, and there it stayed for 8 years, until I finally decided to dislodge it. A quick swap with a suitably sized Wii U box worked wonders, perhaps to give the next buyers of the house a similar passing gift, although the Wii U box will be decidedly empty, whereas this beauty was not only full, but it was complete and in what seemed fantastic condition. Aside from that, I also seem to have amassed the Binatone TV Master Mk, so Christ knows what the previous 3 incarnations were like. I also have a Binatone TV Master Mk 10? My god! How many variations of this were there? Oh, and a Prinztronic Micro 5500. Packaging! Starting with the Sovereign, I love the bright yellow and orange packaging they've used here, even though it's somewhat faded now. An ad-libbed sticker on the front advises of an added gun facility, to further add excitement if you weren't already gobsmackingly overwhelmed with the 4 depicted sports images of a lollipop lady who has just been run over, a chap who has met a similar demise and also seems to have shed an excessively large bollock in the process, yet another lollipop lady. Christ, what the hell is wrong with these drivers? And not surely again. In the same street? The community will be devastated. After you get over those apparent horrific visions, the box tells you that inside is super fun for all the family. Play football, tennis, squash or solo on your own. I'm not sure what solo they're referring to there, possibly Han Solo? Maybe it's an attempt to incorporate Star Wars hidden into the game whilst avoiding costly lawsuits. The Binatone Mk has similar imagery of fatal road accidents and also tells us it was licensed from Magnavox in the US of A. Also, to add further confusion to the branding, it apparently is another bloody JP product. The Mark X iteration steps up imagery with a full-on 70's photo experience played out in front of a wooden-clad television set. Imagery of the games is fairly similar, with the addition of a drunken golfer trying to pick up his ball, a couple of guys attempting some Egyptian dancing, and that golfer again after a few more pints. Again, the Mark X is licensed by Magnavox. Apparently there are later colour versions as well, but who cares? Prinztronic has gone all spacey on its packaging with the additions of a naval vessel, a basketball player and a motocross bike merrily slapped on the bottom. Gameplay on this beauty is displayed as it appears on the screen, including what appears to be some fairly complex looking games, although I cannot for the life of me tell which is supposed to be which. On opening the Sovereign box, you're confronted with an upside down console. Although neatly packed into its polystyrene surroundings, you'll notice that it takes a whopping 6 D-cell batteries, a standard RF cable irks its way out of the back, and some sort of DIN plug makes its presence known all too well. Flipping her over, easy, we are presented with a fine example of a machine featuring a large red power button, a large red reset button, a big dial allowing you to choose from tennis, football, mixed race squash, target again although named skeet, and that forever elusive solo mode. There are also a variety of flip switches including professional and amateur settings, although if your profession includes excessive play of the Sovereign Supersports TV games system, then, well, I guess I could become a professional. There are also a couple of hand controls, including wires which once released can never be reinserted, a twisty dial arrangement and a suspiciously squishy red serve button. Pressing this button fills me with a slight contempt, but that is a story for another day. Oh, there's also some sort of scale switch thing that has a scale that allows you to move it to depict the number you want on that scale. The Binatone boxes also feature their respective consoles, with an array of similar switches, buttons and knobs. Although the joysticks on the Mark X have been upgraded to what I can only describe as double lollies stuffed into a plastic box, there's also a lovely addition of a score counter, presumably to count how many games each participant has won. It reminds me of those toy snooker score counters you used to get. Still, I guess it's an upgrade. On opening this particular Prinztronic box, I was treated to what appears to be some sort of homemade control panel with felt tip buttons, some sort of display and what appears to be a speaker? It's outstanding! You can't beat stuff like this. The Prinz can also accept additional cartridges, although sadly I have none. The instruction manuals are all much of a muchness, but looking at the Sovereign manual again, the front of a wafer-thin manual unfortunately greets you with the news that the gun is an optional extra. Sorry guys. Presumably that's what the DIN port is for. You're then swiftly ushered into the operating highlights, where you're pleasingly told, for those people who do not like instruction books, the following brief information will get you playing quickly. As if it's drafted for some sort of crack-addicted game player who needs a quick fix. The controls are explained to you next, and indeed it appears I was right about the DIN plug on the back. It also transpires that the difference between the pro and amateur settings is the use of large or small bats, or rackets if you prefer your words to be slightly more sophisticated. Apparently they recommend that for extended operation you should use a 9V DC adapter. Yeah, nice of you to supply it guys, real nice. Got shares in Duracell have we? Further installation instructions tell you to turn the volume down to 0, then switch on the game and you should hear a series of intermittent bleeps coming from the game. I can only presume that this is some sort of cover for a bomb device installed in each unit. Oh my god. The back of the manual seems to have been made by your average IT support staff, with frequent references to press the reset button if you encounter any problems. A quick flick through the Binatone Mark IV tells us that the quality is higher than the price, which makes absolutely no sense as they're two separate and distinctive pieces of context. The Mark X manual contains special notes, including a warning it is advisable not to play the game on your television non-stop all day long. So I'm presuming a 5-minute break at midday will sort that little problem out then? But seriously, who in their right mind would play these fucking games all day long? Oh, also there's an important warning that notifies the user that if they use the game on a colour TV, the image will still be in black and white. Bloody really? Good God! Thanks for that. So let's play this beast. Just bear with me while I find 6 D-cell batteries. Do these things even exist anymore? Well, apparently they do, in Tesco's. Thank Tesco's. Now I can go solo, but wait, no, I can't play the Sovereign at least, because apart from a pitiful screeching speaker sound, which quickly died, it didn't turn on. Disappointing, to say the least, but hey, let's open it up instead. The case is removed fairly easily through the use of a Phillips screwdriver. Thanks for that, Phil. The belly of the beast is then unveiled, and inside we have limited circuitry, a speaker, lots of wires, transistors and capacitors, alongside a AY-3-8500 chip by General Instrument, which is responsible for all the hard work. These chips are featured inside other machines from the era, with each machine playing exactly the same games. So, that was worth it. So, although I can't play the Sovereign, which is the machine I've spent most of my time talking about, these screenshots are from the same chip and are exactly the same as would have appeared had it functioned. Fortunately, some of the other machines do work. So, starting with the Binatone Mark IV. And the ball just went straight through the bat. Yep, collision detection seems a little on the ropey side. Football. And start. Oh, hello. Oh no, that's better. no sound from this machine. I think the sound is broken. Squash. Practice. One player, practice squash. Solo. This is the solo game. The solo version on the Binatone Mark IV. And next up, we have a Binatone Mark X. Now the Mark X has a much wider array of games. Look at this, we can move the pedal all over the shop. Look at this, this is actually not too bad. This is basketball. I think that colour is a bit deceptive. I think that is just some major issue with the modulator. Hey, I got a basket. Tennis? Notice it just removes parts of the field. What's this? This is squash. I do quite like this. I quite like this little controller. These lollipops. That's quite nice. It's nice to have analog controls. After having digital controls for so long, it feels nice. Football. The movement is spot on. This is hockey, or the drunk golfer. Oh, it can rebound off the back of a net. I like that. Single squash. Squash for one. What's this? Tennis. Now this is volleyball, but I'd like to point out that I can't tell any difference between volleyball and the tennis whatsoever. I have shooting, so 2 targets. And the shooting games, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I couldn't make it do anything. There was no target to fire at. God knows. Sadly, the Prinz failed to function as well. But then we are talking about technology that's edging up to 40 years old. I know, holy moly. Unfortunately though, against all advice and warning, I got carried away and played non-stop all day long. It's safe to say that I won't be recovering anytime soon. Thanks for watching this video on classic Pong type machines. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please subscribe or click one of the videos below if it takes your fancy. Thanks for watching and good night.